Welcome back to our IT support readiness and career knowledge playlist. In this video, we are going to talk about resume in more detail. We mentioned our resume throughout this playlist, but right now we're going to focus more detail about the resume because it is probably the most important part of this whole list because this is what you're representing to other people. So if you look at this last section of this quiz, we're going to do another video after this on how to get started because we do have a solution. We think we have a better solution. If somebody have a better solution, you should always use your common sense to pick whichever solutions works for you. But here, I want to focus more on why it is so important for you to focus on a resume that is more catchy, that can represent you, and it will seek the attention of employers, IT recruiters, HR managers, or IT managers, whoever is basically going to hire you. So the first thing you need to realize is that who are you impressing over here? Are you impressing a robot or are you impressing a human being? I'm sure you have one answer. You're impressing a human being unless somebody thinks that there's an AI that's going to pick you. Well, I don't know too much about that. Probably I'm outdated for that kind of stuff. But let's be real over here. A person who is going to hire you is going to be a human being. It is going to be a person who is going to be in an authoritative position who is going to make that decision. And even if they are not in that authority that they can give you a job, they're going to be a person who can at least say that I like this resume, so I'm going to forward it to this specific person. So you got to make sure your target has to be a human being. So when you talk about impressing a human being or catching their attention, I'm sure you naturally know certain things from your life examples. You do that. And you do that because you know this is how you grab attention. So here in resume, when it comes to IT stuff or a professional job, you need to grab attention. That's the first thing you need to do. You can be technically sound, you can be a very technical person, or you can have a great customer service, or you can have both. But if you are not putting that on your resume, I don't know about you. And if somebody else put it, even if they don't have these two things available, I will still at least pick their resume. Maybe I'll catch them in the interview, but at that point, I already picked that person. So I may even make a decision. Listen to this carefully. I may even make a decision that while I did so much hard work on picking this person and seems like this person can learn, let me just give this person a try. Now that's the moment that person won because they have worked on their resume. They have shown in their interview, they have shown some skills, and because I'm a human being, I don't want to go through this whole thing again. Maybe some people do. A lot of people will do, by the way. But this is the chances that we're talking about that you're losing because you're not paying attention to your resume. So here in this example, I'm showing you something that we have 3 resumes available. Now, of course, this is not a perfect resume. But why am I sharing this one specific example over here? And I will talk about it in a second. So the first example I want to talk about is this example. If you look at it, the screen is not that clear. That's fine. We just want to look at the format right now. As you can see, this is not a bad resume. Okay, it's not a bad resume, but it's too simple. So if your resume look like this, where it says name / technical support, phone, email, and then everything is like in a block, and it's just boring, right? If you look at this resume, to me, that's just a boring resume, okay? And it's too simple. So you need to work on your resume and make it look a little bit more catchy, right? And we'll go into now second model right here, and we'll talk about more models later on. So if you look at this model right now, this is the model, by the way. Even if it has mistakes, people can catch mistakes, by the way. But I'll show you the original template of this resume, and I'll share that with you so you can download it too. This model is doing magic. We call this magic resume. The reason this model works not because it looks cool. It has its own way of representing itself. Yes, it's a classical resume. Its simplicity is there, and there are tables, but a lot of people think that maybe some type of automatic system will just catch these tables and they don't like it. Now that's not true. We have tons of examples. We have been in this for over 6 years. So if you visit our Discord community, I'm going to show you quickly. If you visit our Discord community and you have basically this thinking that, look, I can go and do a little research because I am a person who believe in research. I don't just go by words. I don't take your words. Who are you? Are you sitting on the YouTube and telling me to do this? I'm gonna go and check it out myself. So if you're that kind of person, then you should definitely do this, because you should come over here, not because you want to check this out, because you really want to get the confidence. If you go to our Discord server and click on success stories, you will find tons of examples of how people have used this resume and actually landed a job. Now this is, imagine we have just created a Discord server. We've been in this for almost 6 years. Our emails, our reviews, our comments are full of this stuff. So I'm not just making this stuff up. Now again, I'm not also going to make you believe this stuff, because you have a common sense and you should use that. If you don't want to use it, that's up to you. So here you can come over here and actually check it out and see if how many people have used this type of resume and got the job. And this is not only, by the way, resume stuff. This is not about that. It's not just about the resume. It's about what's inside the resume and how it's presented. So now I'm going to open another model, which is this one, the first one, and you see how this one also have a decent way of representing them. But I don't like this model because it's kind of like you have a description, then you have a course strength, then you have professional experience, and then you have certain things on the bottom. I would like this to go down if I don't want to present my experience right away, because I want to impress people ahead of the time. Let them talk about my experience or think about my experience later on, when they know what I can do for them, or they know what I can do, what I have already learned from a skills perspective. So in IT, why people say experience wins all the time? Experience is the one that basically gives you more money, and why people are so confident doing that. When they learn all these experience and stuff, people will come and put that ahead of the time. They'll say, oh, I know this, I know that, I know this type of tool, I know this type of product. They're going to put that in front of people because they know that this type of stuff is going to make a big impact. It's not going to be where they're going to say, I went to college, I have 4.0 GPA, I have this GPA, that GPA. None of that stuff works. Even if they say, I have a master's degree, none of that stuff works. The reason for that is simple. In this type of career, people are hiring you for support jobs. So they want people to be learning technology quickly and actually doing some reactive work. They're not looking for someone who can do some research over here or something like that, even though you may do some type of research to fix issues. But in this job, in the IT job, a career support jobs, this is a reactive job. People want you to come and learn the product, whatever they're using, and do your research on the Google, or we'll give you documentation. You just need to follow that. That's all they want. But if you think that you're some type of degree or some type of high level academic stuff is going to help you in this, that's not going to be the case for most of the people. And that's just the hard reality that people need to accept. And this is why if you go to bls.gov, they don't even have any degree requirements. So don't think that that's going to really help you. So why should you put that on the top? Because it's really not going to help you. So you should put something on the top that is really going to catch the attention of the human being. So coming back to my main point, you're actually catching the attention of a human being. And how do you do that? Let me now open a original template of this resume, so then we can talk about this a little bit more detail over here. So let's open that, and basically I have it right here. Okay, so this is the template that we use for most of our members, and this is not the perfect template. It may have mistakes, but the only thing that why we are so confident about this, because it works. It works in the US, it worked in the UK, it worked in Australia, so I'm sure it will work in many places. But you do have to really look at your area. If you're from some place that they don't accept this type of model, then at least use the information from this model, and that information is the key skills in this resume. So it's not just the format here, it's actually what's inside this resume and how it's represented. It's the most important key from this whole video. And the first thing, you should start with your name. You see how I changed the name color and made it more bolder, and the title is very visible. That's just to give this whole body a little bit of a good start. So if it was small, if it was like not bold, then it's gonna look like the bottom area, and it's not gonna hold that value in this format. So it has this strong representation for the whole body. It's like holding the whole resume. So if you look at this address and the number and the email, everything is in kind of like a decent method. So you have your address right here, Then we have phone number right in the middle, and then we have a flow going on, and then there's an email, which is a normal way of representing any resume. So you can see they're in two blocks that just separate it out from the summary section, so people don't lose focus here. Now, if you look at the summary and you can look at the text then matches the rest of the titles, and it's a decent text. I like to use light grayish color like that. The reason for that is that it just differentiates from the other resume, and it has this decent look in there. It's not two different colors. You don't want to be using red colors or blue colors or things like that. It just throw people off. So don't give people a chance to make an opinion on your resume. So try to make that less as possible, because then you don't have a chance from someone to come across someone who's picky on little things, and that may just turns out to be a negative thing. Now, you cannot be perfect. Again, you have to really go with your own choices, but that would be my advice in this area. Now, summary of qualification. This is where a lot of people do a mistake. People will just come here and put a whole summary, so it will look really bulky. The resume become very texty, so a lot of people will do something like this. They'll just come here and they'll put, if you guys look at it, you see, even if I put add more, that doesn't look that bad, but still people won't have time to read all the way through. They don't like to do that in the IT, especially in the IT support, IT engineering, or any IT job that is technical. People really want to get down quickly. They know you're gonna say something really cool in here, so I would try to make it very small, just few lines. 4 lines is enough. More than 4, you're going to the red line then. Now let's focus on the text. Like, what should you really put in the title? I like to use summary of qualifications. That's just to tell a person that, look, this is my summary. This is what I know. This is what I can bring to you. And then after that, you want to use core strengths. So core strength is kind of like a very broad term. So it doesn't let people think that, if you put, let's say, area of expertise, which we used to use before, then I thought about it. What about those entry-level people? Because we're targeting entry-level people over here. So if you're going to go to the job and you say area of expertise, it may just throw people off that, okay, you put expertise in here, but you put tier 1 in there, and you are going for an entry-level job. So why are you calling this an expert level knowledge? So let's just call it core strength. That's just totally takes that whole thing away from here. And then you focus on the bottom one. This is probably the most important area, by the way. As soon as you, like I said, summary is also a story. Just like when you go to the interview, you have to be in a story to engage people. In a resume, you're also going to create that story. This is the cover, the book cover. People say that you won't know about the book till you really open it, right? So this is kind of like your cover has to be really good for someone to really get into your book. So this is your cover. You have to make that story so catchy that let people call you based on this cover. So now when you see the summary, they quickly finish the summary. They didn't spend too much time. As soon as they go to the core strengths, this is where you're going to be targeting people. Targeting people. Who are these people? HR people, IT recruiters, IT managers. Because it's a flow. If IT recruiters get your resume, they're going to give it to the HR managers. The HR managers are going to give it to the IT managers, or someone who's technical enough to hire you in this area, because they need to know about your skills. And the person who's going to really hire you will be kind of like, in most cases, 90% of the time would be an IT professional. Whether it's a manager, whether it's a director, whether it's a co-worker, or whether it's a sysadmin, whoever is going to hire you, it's going to be the person who's going to be at the manager position, and they're going to need to know certain things. So the first thing you want to focus over here is customer service. This job is all customer service, by the way, but because it's a technical job, so of course you need to know some technical stuff. So as soon as you hit the customer service, whether their eyes flow down, they're going to see something technical. Whether their eyes flow on the right side, they're going to see something technical. And you have to target other people as well, but you don't need to go so technical that they will lose interest. Okay, now this is where a lot of people do mistakes. They'll put core strengths, core skills, and they're gonna fill up this place with so many different unnecessary things and repetitive things. So if someone will say Tier 1 troubleshooting, and right below that they're going to put something very a specific product and troubleshooting about that. Now doesn't make any sense. Like, you put troubleshooting, you don't need to put more troubleshooting in core strengths. You want to first engage them. So if you look at it, a lot of people will put a lot of VMware, this and that, specific names out there. Forget that. Use a bigger terms, bigger values, so then people can just don't lose their focus. And like I said, you have to target HR people. They're not IT professionals, so they have to look at something that they can relate to and make sure that they are engaged as well. So if a HR person look at this, they're going to be interested in customer service. As soon as they see ticketing system, because they use ticketing system at work, there you go. You start hitting the area where they know and you know, but they don't know it too much technical stuff. But then Office 365 management, and they like this management words, right? Because they are the people who call you to add people in Office 365, and you're the one who's managing it, right? So tier one level troubleshooting. Now this is something that they will know from their managers or their IT people, because then like, okay, yeah, this person knows what he's talking about because he's using these nice wording. Tier 1 level troubleshooting, I like that. Active Directory user management. Now this is where a lot of people will come in and they're going to be like, okay, we use Active Directory heavily. And even if they don't, a lot of people know about Active Directory, by the way. It's a very, very famous skill out there that everybody will be happy for you to know that. Manage virtual machines, then it gets to a little bit more technical side. Now you're like hitting that areas, the bigger areas, and now you have impressed them. Many people will get impressed in this area, and then they're gonna go down to the other phase, which is technical proficiencies. Now when it comes to technical proficiencies, you see how you're using that term as well. Technical proficiencies, you're not using any other term, specific term. Now you're basically telling a person that now let's talk about IT. You wanted an IT person, right? So let's just talk about it. So now you are engaging them in this whole story, and they're not moving away from your resume. They're like, wow, okay, this person knows about 10. He's actually using some 32-bit, 64-bit. Now we're getting too technical. So let me just send this to my IT manager. I like this resume. Then they're probably going to go down and check more things. But at this point, seriously, you have made some score right there, because you have engaged them so much that they can just quickly go down up. And an HR manager will skip this area, by the way. They're not going to be interested in your technical stuff because they don't know this stuff, right? They're not going to be interested in that area. They're just going to quickly go down to your experience. So let's say even if they skip this part, which is, let's say an HR person or a technical recruiter may not be that technical, right? They may be having a good knowledge about technical stuff, but they may not be that technical as an IT professional. So they may look at this stuff. I like Zoom, VPN. These are all common words. LAN, WAN, Wi-Fi, stuff like that sounds like an IT professional. And okay, they're using SCCM. Somebody told me to look for some terms like this. PDQ is there, Spiceworks, and Microsoft stuff is there. Okay, good. And there's ticketing systems out there. Okay, I can see on the right side, you can see the technical proficiencies. Still, I'm keeping in my mind that what if they do read this? So I'm keeping in my mind to help them out. So on the left side, I say operating system. So I'm sure everybody knows about operating system. And that kind of like teaches them too, okay, now these are the operating systems that I work on. Then I can get a little technical with you if you really want to. Networking. Okay, that's the common understanding, the theoretical understanding of the whole network. Patch management. I really don't know about this, but it seems like cool stuff. Security and vulnerability. Now, who wouldn't know that? And then I went into more specifics. Of course, if you're going to go for more advanced level jobs, then fill this out for your own needs. Remote and shadowing. They probably know about remote, but they didn't know about shadowing. So that sounds a little cool. Ticketing system. Okay, I know about that. Oh, they're using this one. Desktop apps. Who doesn't know that? I mean, Microsoft Word stuff. Software management. I like that. You know, it has some cool management going on. Office 365 is there. Cool. I like that. So you see how even here you're targeting the same person. What if they do spend that time, kind of thing. But if it does go to next level with an IT manager, now here you made it easy for the IT manager, but my IT manager is interested right here. That technical person, SCCM. Oh, they're going to love this if they see SCCM, right? They may check the tools that we're using heavily, like for example, Zoom and Microsoft Teams. So you may want to put both, because Zoom is well known in the market right now and Teams is well known right now. VPN is a technology that everybody knows, especially at this time right now when everybody's remote. And then we have these communities like Spiceworks, tools that we use, millions of IT professionals use this one. So when they see this type of stuff, they automatically know that this person is not coming with just basic knowledge from college, or someone who just passed their A+ certifications and did the paper certification, and now the person have no clue how the business works, how the real business works in IT. So you targeted them in the beginning, that was not that much, but here now you have expanded on that core strengths, because you said Office 365 and stuff like that. Now you're actually telling them a little bit more in detail, and this is where they're gonna go down then. Now of course this is where it comes to the moment which you could have probably impressed them by here, and that would have been enough for people, and they will not be too worried about experience at this point. Why? Because I said in the beginning, as an entry level, that's not an expectation from many people. They were expecting someone to just bring their normal basic resume, and they're like, okay, we're gonna have to find a good person for this job. Now you made it super easy for them, because you just hit almost every spot that they were looking for in entry level. That's like a dream list for them, by the way. So when they see this, they already have a good feeling. Now the rest on the bottom, it really depends on what this company is looking for. If they are extremely into, let's say for example, somebody put an entry level position and they put like 4 years of experience, that's something we always have a very bad feeling about. That it's just like, we don't like that as an IT professionals, but people do that. That's just a normal way of people putting stuff, 2 to 3 years of experience for entry level. So this is where you can really kick that away from that, you know, that experience numbers. You'll just kick it right there, because you're telling a person, I'm in entry level, I'm looking for an entry level position, but look what I have. I can bring everything that you're looking for as an experienced person. That would be the same thing that an experienced person will put out there. Why? Because these are the skills you will learn on the job. But here's the thing, we have the solution on jobskillshare.org. We teach you this stuff. So when you learn this stuff, you're able to talk about it. Now, how are you going to put that in experience? Now, of course, this is where the tricky part comes in. For a lot of people, I would suggest to do internships. Go find a project. Go find a friend company. Go work with your family members. Maybe you can use the names. Go to the college. Do one project only. Just do one project. Get the name out there. And just talk about that whole project, and just make it a little bigger. That I did this, I helped users, then I helped with the lab, blah, blah, blah. And you see, you don't want to put so many jobs out there. Even if you are transitioning into IT career, it's not recommended for you to put 5 or 6 different jobs that is not related to IT. Now, you can put the customer service jobs, by the way, because those are good to have. But if it's totally unrelated to IT that you have done, like say 10 years ago, it's totally just, you know, taking that resume to a kind of like a more pages. And of course you can go for 2 pages, but more than 2 would be more something that I wouldn't consider good in IT resume. So just keep it to 2. The first page is going to be extremely important. And then of course you need more if you want to present more. But here's the main reason for me to tell you that why you should put the current experience as an IT, even if it's a project, because like I said in the beginning, people are looking for a person who can just help them, who can learn quickly and be able to really run that company, because you're the first person. So you don't have too much time over here. The company also don't have too much time. They're looking for someone who can really do that. So if other people have the projects, if other people have done this before you, then of course they're going to get more preferences. So here I would recommend that make sure your current experience has to be in IT, even if it's a project. That's an important part right here, okay? Even if you're a student, you need to understand this. You need to put some project out there. If you're a member of JobSkillShare and you're a live member, you took our live training, then we give internships because we have our own products. We just put our name, we give you the experience on our products, and you're working with us throughout the whole time doing training. So we give you the internship hours, and that's where you put the DMV IT solutions. And that's where it's a pretty big thing for people, right? Because usually you don't put anything, and now you can put something in there. So that's an investment out there. And that's the reason people would come to our training and do a lot of our trainings, because we not only we give value, not only we give skills, but we give this type of value to people. And it's a big thing for people. So if you can do this on your own with somebody, then that would be my suggestion, to make sure you get that done, because it's going to make a big impact on your resume. Because like I said, even if you impress people all in the beginning, Maybe some people want a little experienced person, and you just need to get in. Once you get in, I'm sure, like I said in the beginning, people don't have time to really revert everything back to day one, and they'll give you a chance. Okay. Now, coming back to this was experience, and coming back to here to academic section. It's very important. If you have something academically done, just put that in there. Even if it's a non-IT related degree or something like that, you should put that in there because it looks good. First of all, you have a section to fill. It looks good on everybody's eyes because it's an academic thing. Everybody likes that, right? Then make sure you put something like this: IT training and skills development. It's very important. Today, in 2020, everybody's talking about skills. Even in the US, at the government level, federal level, they have talked about job skills preferences over degrees. So you can think how big this is now. People are changing their certifications left and right. We've been doing this for years. Microsoft just announced like last few months ago that they're going to focus more job specific skills, right? Job role, job titles, right? So as you can see, it's very important for you to really target that area because in IT, it's all about skills. And when you just talk about that IT training and skills development, you can put a lot more than, just courses. So let's say, for example, if you're taking free courses or anywhere, you should put that course. In JobSkillShare, if you're taking a free course, you don't have to put the code in there. You can just remove that code. If you really want to verify this stuff, people sometimes do that, and they like this kind of stuff to get verified. Of course, then you need to be a member. You can do the project, hands-on projects, and then you get the code and you can verify. But these names also matters. We have these titles for a reason, for this one specific reason, because it looks good on your resume. And when you check this and you check on the top, it basically verifies your work. And that is one of the main keys in the resume. It's also a verification, a quick verification for a person who's an HR technical recruiter. They're gonna come over here, check that skills, come on the bottom, and it just naturally they think that it's verified. Of course, they can come in verified also. So this is where it's very important. Now, if you look at on the bottom, it says anticipated IT certifications. Now, if you already have IT certifications, you should put that in there with whatever code. But most of us who are entry level, they're not going to have something like that. So then, of course, you can put a name that makes more sense. Anticipated IT certifications, CompTIA in progress. No one can challenge that, right? You can always say, I'm taking ProfessorMesser.com courses and then I'm getting ready for this. No one can challenge that. No one even, this doesn't even matter to a lot of people, by the way. But again, if you're one of those type of people that you're hard on certifications, you feel like that's really going to help you, then you should definitely do that because it does help. In some cases, it does help because if you have it, you have it. That's a plus point, right? If you don't have it, you don't have to really worry about this stuff because we have already proven that in our platform that you can get a job in IT in many different ways. You don't have to have nothing, but still people will give you a job. But it's like, would you be able to perform that job? Now, of course, the next thing is that how do you even learn this stuff? Well, Danish, you want me to put this stuff on my resume without knowing this stuff? That's just fake, right? Well, that's not going to happen in JobSkillShare, right? You have to then understand and learn these skills. And this is the reason, because like I said in the beginning, your resume was a story about your book. Somebody will open this because it's so attractive. When they open that, they're going to need to know about that book, that internal story. And if you don't know how to defend this stuff, you don't know how to talk about this stuff, you're stuttering, if you are not confident, if your flow is messed up, then of course that seems to be fake then. You really need to defend this stuff. And it's going to take you time. If you're one of those type of people who think that you're going to get into IT like this without any effort, then of course your stress level is too high. And you either want to take stress in your life and become that kind of IT professional, or you do it in such a smart way that you make good amount of money, good amount of income, but at the same time you love what you do and you will proceed in this career with no problem. And we love this because we know some techniques in this career and we're still learning every day, by the way. But again, we know certain things that we can really move on in this career. And that is the reason what put me in this stage, because I have 40,000 members and I know and I do research on this stuff. You either invest your time in the beginning and get it right from the beginning, or you learn it the hard way. You will still become one of the best IT professionals out there, probably one of the best out there. And the only thing is that you're just going to go through some rough route. And if you make it, you make it. If you get stressed and one day give up, then that's going to be your fault because you did not do it properly. That is how people should do. When I say smart learning versus manual or hard learning, this is smart learning right here. Then of course in my next video I'm going to show you how you're going to actually learn all of this stuff, and that is where the practical side will come. The first practical side was that, did you download this resume? Did you start playing around with it? If not, then of course you're missing out. The second thing will be watching the next video. Are you even going to invest that time to learn this stuff now? And that is going to be the real question to you. Are you going to do it? If you don't do it, then I don't know what can help you, but I would still wish you best luck in this career. See you in our next video.